You're listening to the Social U podcast, sponsored by Social University. Be sure to follow us on our socials listed in the show notes. Now, let's dive in.
I'm Becky Johnson.
And I'm Laura Black. Welcome to the Social U podcast.
So last week was fun, and we talked about all the things that we love as social media managers, but now it's time for the real tea. Now we're going to talk about the things that we hate. So on the other podcast and on our live videos, you're going to hear a lot about things we love, but you're rarely going to hear about the things that we hate. So this is where it gets real. So Laura, what's the first thing that you hate?
Well, I was also going to say, we try not to dish too much, but you can tell where it really hits, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to start with impossible ideas. Like when somebody has this really great idea in their mind, but it's not feasible for what we do and the time we have to do it and the resources we have to do it, or, like they're not providing the resources we need to do it. All of those things. I think that is a big pet peeve of mine.
Yes. Like I made this 10-second video. It's just a picture of my product spinning on a turntable, and I want you to make it go viral this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would love if we could do that.
Well, right. And right up there with, hey, is this one going to go viral? That's the beauty of viral. You have no idea. Because, we always say that, the ones we think will do really, really well don't always do well. And some of them that we think are just junk really,
Right.
take off. So it's really kind of unpredictable.
And then you'll have one that has 1 million views on TikTok, and you put the same video on Instagram and it gets 12 views.
That's wild to me. And that's pretty standard.
It's crazy.
So,
yeah. Mine, this is going to be funny because this is also something I said last week that I loved, but something that I hate about being a social media manager is also working from home. So I love it and I hate it. I hate that I have to be the person that motivates myself to start working. I hate that there's no other grown people here to have conversations with while I'm working, and that I have little coworkers that are 3 and 4 years old that are honestly the worst coworkers ever. They have no respect for my job. And so that, even though it's something I also love, that's something I hate.
That's so true. And my kids are at school or, grown up more than that. But my 4-legged coworker is probably needier than the rest of them. And she makes up for 2 or 3, right? There's always something. I have to remove myself from the situation when I really need to get stuff done.
So what is your next thing that you hate?
I guess I don't hate it, but it makes life difficult when you get a request for, can you put this out immediately? Of course, we understand that, things happen. Every now and again, there's something that has to be done just right away. But it's when it becomes habitual, and sometimes it's putting out fires and it's preventable. When they're preventable, that's when it makes me nuts.
You are so organized. You have things scheduled out. You have these things done days in advance. And so not only is it like hey, you may not have scheduled time for this today, but it's also you've already got something scheduled to go out that you don't want to post on top of, but you also don't want to lose that post that you made.
Right. And I don't want to take it down because it's probably got engagement on it that I don't want to lose. So yeah, people just don't understand how that works sometimes. And, you only see both sides of something if you're in it and you're working in it all the time.
This one goes along with that and with people not understanding. And that's when people think that I don't have a real job because they have social media and anybody can do it.
Yes.
Because there's a difference between you're an individual who has a lot of friends or does a lot of cool stuff and people follow you, and you're a brand who is posting things with a brand voice that has to be consistent with your messaging. And so people think, oh, I've got 5,000 followers on Instagram. It can't be that hard. I could totally be a social media manager. It's like, you have no idea what we do.
Yeah, totally different. And still, like, people still give you the pat on the head. Oh, what do you do? Oh, really? Oh, you're on Facebook all the time? No, I'm almost never on Facebook. But anyway.
Or when they're like, oh, that's what you do. Well, like, what's your end goal? What do you want to end up doing? As if it's a stepping stone to the job you're really looking for.
Right? And they don't understand how much there is to it. So yeah, I'm with you there. Another thing along those lines expecting fabulous results. Like, oh, it's just social media. I gave you what you needed. And they're expecting these fabulous results, but they're not giving you the content you need. We kind of touched on that earlier. You may have all this business content, but you're not making these goals that they're setting for you. But yet we know what's going to drive that up, and they can't help us with it, whether that be behind the scenes or pictures of the staff or, testimonials, anything that is going to really, really help them. And they get frustrated because numbers aren't moving. You can only do what you can do.
And this one kind of goes along with that too. It's funny how ours are kind of like bouncing off of each other.
Uh-huh.
But mine is when you have a client that wants you to keep doing everything the same way they have been doing it, but they want different results. Mm-hmm. They want you to post it exactly like they've been posting it. They want you to make the graphics look exactly like they've been making the graphics look. They want you to post captions that say the exact thing they've been saying, but somehow they want you to get different results when you do it. Right. It's like, well, we do have the ability to research and find out what your audience is looking for and post things that will get you different results. But we can't do that by posting what you've already been posting. You got to do something different to get a different result.
You do have to establish that relationship of trust where they trust you to represent them well and to help them grow. But, they've got to trust you and, that reciprocal relationship. So, well, that's tough.
Oh, yeah. One of our favorite strategies is to say, give it a month. Just let's do it my way for a month.
Yes.
If you don't like it, and if you don't see the results, we'll go back and do it your way.
And I think that's fair. I mean, they've come to you for your services and your expertise.
And we will always do whatever they ask for. Like, it comes down to they're paying us. We're going to give them what they want.
Sure.
But if they want us to get them better results than they've been getting on their own, then we have to do something different than they've been doing on their own.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. This kind of is off of that little thread that we were on. But another thing that we talk about a lot in the office, anything cringy, like when they want you to post bad pictures or random pictures or unrelated pictures or feet pictures, or not that we've been asked to post feet, but anything cringy. Oh, I hate that because it's so awkward. You're like, this really doesn't need to be here.
Can you use Comic Sans font and put little hearts around it? No, I cannot. Absolutely not. It's like, if we do that, you are under obligation not to tell anybody who does your social media, because we do not claim that.
Exactly. But that always gets me every time. I'm like, ooh, really? Okay.
I used to do hair, and I would have people come in and they would be like, can you give me a Billy Ray Cyrus mullet? And I'm like, I can, but you cannot leave here and tell people you got your hair cut here. So that's the deal.
I mean, and as far as social media goes, there's adding your personality, and then there's overshare too personal. There's a line there. So I think that's also part of our responsibility to say, I think you're crossing it just a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Or like, I run a shoe store. Here's all of my political views.
Right.
Nobody cares about your political views. It's only going to make half of the population never want to come in your store. So my last one kind of goes along with one of your first ones, and that's just the reactive nature of the job. We love to be proactive. We love to schedule things out, but there's always going to be that 10 p.m. somebody leaves a negative comment that is just insane, and you have to respond to it right then and do damage control before it gets out of hand. So you're kind of always on call.
Yeah, you sure don't want to wake up in the morning and see that thing's blown up.
Like, oh, you have 10,000 comments now. It's too late.
Yes. Which is another great thing to be a part of a team, because we can cover each other a bit. And I mean, sometimes those pop up, and that's so valuable. So valuable.
Yes. And we all have somebody that is like our backup. Mm-hmm. And then even the people that aren't our backups, we usually still check each other's accounts just to be supportive and see what's going on. So I feel like we have a lot of eyes on it.
Yes.
But yeah, you have to like jump and run if something happens. If there's a weather emergency and a place has a tree fall on the building, you have to you have to let people know. You can't wait 3 days from now when you run out of scheduled posts.
Right. That's so true. So true. At the end of the day, it's still great, and all the great outweighs the bad, and there's so many clients that are wonderful, and they, are always working ahead of the ball and just trying to get you what you need, because they know we're working for them. We're working hard for them. So, and those are the fun ones.
I think about other jobs that I've had and other jobs people that I know have had, and I wouldn't trade it. So right now in social media, something that I've known about this for a long time, but I've never really thought about it. But now that, I work in social media and I'm in that world all the time, this is something I wanted to talk about. And that is when celebrities, if you don't know this happens, people, it happens all the time. When celebrities call the paparazzi, they'll call TMZ and they'll be like, hey, I'm about to be eating at this restaurant at 2:45 p.m. And they tell them where they are going to be. Then when they show up to the restaurant and the paparazzi's there, they put their hands up and they act like they're really annoyed. And they're like, please don't take my picture. And it is so, speaking of cringe, it is so cringe and it is so fake. I just want to get your take on that.
Oh, 100%. But honestly, it feeds into a negative part of our culture right now because there's so much that we don't know. Like we were saying last week with the AI and with all of that, you don't know what to believe and what not to believe. So let's just add another layer to it. So now every time you see that person's post, you're going to think, oh, is that real? Is that fake? Is that staged for social? Probably. I hate that part of it because it just really, it feeds into the negativity. And right now we've got enough to worry about without dealing with junk like that. I don't like fake.
I will say one of the articles I read was talking about, it was this paparazzi guy talking about all the phone calls they would get to come out for all these people. And he didn't name a lot of them by name, but some of them you could guess who they were based on his descriptions. But then he said that one of the people that is the nicest to the paparazzi is Keanu Reeves. And he said that Keanu Reeves never calls out the paparazzi and says I'm going to be here, I'm going to be there. He just lives his life and is on the subway or whatever. And they said that he is so nice to them. And I was like, I knew I liked him.
No kidding. He seems like such a chill guy. Maybe I need to watch Point Break or something this weekend.
Great movie.
One time a fake Keanu Reeves tried to follow me on Instagram on my personal account. And I got really excited and then I realized it was fake.
Keanu Reeves _
Yeah.
So speaking of reality, not always being reality and the paparazzi being called, I will tell you, there was a reality show that was filmed in the city I used to live in, and they needed people to play certain parts in this reality show. And I auditioned for a part in this reality show and got cast to play a receptionist in a scene for a reality show. I am not a receptionist. I have never been a receptionist. I was an actor and I got paid to come pretend to be a receptionist in a reality show. That kind of did it for me. That's where I was like, you know what? Nothing is real. You can't believe anything. And we filmed this one scene 10 times. There was nothing reality about it. We did it over and over to get the perfect shot.
You have so many cool stories and so many neat experiences, but that's nuts.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening.
Mm. So The Bachelor's not real? Is that what you're telling me? It's totally organized.
It makes you wonder, they film so many hours each week, and then they only show you an hour, and they piece that stuff together in order that it was not in, and somebody will say something and then they'll show somebody else's reaction, but it was to something totally different that happened at a different time. It's just crazy. I don't believe anything. I feel honestly, it makes me have a better view of people because now instead of assuming everything I see is true, I just assume the best. And I assume that those people were just made to look that way, that they were just put in that light for views and ratings.
Well, and everything that's taken. Right now my mailbox is full of political flyers and texts and everybody's is right now. And you just don't even know.
So what about you, Karen? I know that you've called the paparazzi before to catch us coming into the office, and we've tried to look like we didn't know they were coming. So, what is your take on that?
Well, first and foremost, let me just take a step back and say, for people who may not be familiar with Becky, she has a story about everything.
Great story.
I can't even, when she comes up in conversation, people look at me like I'm just making it up. I'm like, yeah, she's got 9 kids and she's learning Spanish and she knows how to roller skate. She is licensed to cut hair and she's also trying, she's doing, she sounds like I made her up. Literally sounds like I made her up. I think that with as much publicity and as many things that are happening right now, it is very difficult to stay in the public eye unless you are having some sort of scandal, which is not the best reason, of course, to be in the public eye. So I think paparazzi got to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
I think celebrities are trying to, especially celebrities who are for lack of better terminology, nicer, not cheating scumbags. It's more difficult for them to get PR, so they have to generate it where they can. I do understand the need to do that because, even bad publicity is good publicity. You've heard the saying. So would I do it? No, but I'm not making my bread and butter from people taking my picture when I walk into yoga. So it's very different mentality.
Then you have the people that are famous that also pay the paparazzi to Photoshop their pictures.
Oh, yeah.
So that regular people never feel like they are good enough because they don't realize that those people also look normal.
I saw an unfiltered picture of J-Lo. I'm like, wow. She's amazing. She looks amazing, but she's still 50 years old. And there's certain things that come with that you can't, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about it to me is that most of these people that are making sure the paparazzi only shares Photoshopped pictures of them are gorgeous. They're beautiful, but they're actual people and they don't want to look like they are actual people, but they're like gorgeous. If I looked like that, I'd be like, take my picture all the time and just post it. I don't care.
Well, and even beyond the filters, they have the time to spend all day, every day at the gym and at the Medi Spa and at the, all these places. And that's not reality for anybody.
One of my favorite celebrities of all time is Jamie Lee Curtis because she doesn't do that. Her stuff's not filtered. It's just who she is. I love that about her.
I love that too. Yeah. Well, it's like the Kelly McGillis, Tom Cruise thing. I saw an interview with her after that Maverick movie came out. And she's like, she's like, I look like I'm supposed to look at this age. I'm okay that I'm not in this movie. It's fine. And I appreciated that viewpoint so much because that is reality.
Yeah, I got so tickled because they had to film it from forced angles because she's so much taller than he is.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. If you go back and rewatch the original movie, there are no scenes where they're standing next to each other. He's seated or behind the bar or standing on a box so that he doesn't look like he's swell.
Yeah, and I love me some Tom Cruise. I know he's a little bit off his rocker sometimes, but I do love me some Tom Cruise.
You were talking about stuff that you hated. I definitely 2 cents to throw in there on, we very much highlight Sipping Social Tea. It's one of my favorite Instagram accounts of all time. And they had a post recently that said, when it's the last day of your job and you're walking your team through the executive team through your current plan and what's scheduled and how you do your job. And they, for the first time, appreciate what all goes into it. Mm-hmm. And it's the first time you've ever felt appreciated ever and you cry. I'm like, I feel that in my soul. We have lost jobs before where we'll do a proposal and the client will say, our receptionist will do it. My niece will do it. I have my daughter, who's in high school, can whip us up a website.
Okay. Her Facebook is great. We'll just get her to do it.
And sadly, almost every time that's happened with the accounts that I've seen,
they come back.
They either come back or nothing happens on their account. We mentioned one just the other day in our meeting that we were the last post 6 months ago and somebody was going to take it over.
Well, and we have truly, truly amazing clients. I love the people we work with.
Yeah.
Some of our past clients, I think one of my biggest frustrations is you pay us for our expertise and opinion, and I get paid for consulting for organizations to literally look me in the face and say, yeah, we're not doing that.
Your choice.
You asked me what I thought we should do. I am telling you what I think we should do. And you're like, yeah, we're just going to go a different route. Sure. Ultimately, we want the clients to be happy. Ultimately, we will do what is asked of us. But it's very difficult. Like we've had to have a waiver before where it says, I won't be responsible for your analytics if you won't let me post what we think you should post. Yeah. If you want graphics from 1974 that have doilies in the corners, I'm for it.
Comic Sans and hearts, sure, but we're not responsible for your analytics.
Yeah, if you're gonna not do what we have, why hire me if you're not gonna listen to me? That makes no sense.
Right, and like Laura said earlier, we're not saying don't have personality or that everything has to be super corporate, polished, but it can't be like a flea market. Like it can't, unless you run a flea market.
Not in corporate America, that's for sure.
And I've heard George Clooney say before, nobody cares what my opinion is on who I'm voting for. He's right.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. You're not going to change anybody's opinion by posting your religious, political, personal values on Facebook. Now, I do think you should have an ethical and a moral standard that you uphold through your brand, but that doesn't mean I want to hear about who you think you should vote for in November.
Right. You're not going to change anybody's mind to agree with you or like you, but you might change somebody's mind to hate you and never do business with you.
Oh, I have done business with organizations who stand up for what they believe in, and I'm for it. We have some, I'm not political at all, not even a little, but I do believe in equality for everybody. And I'm a very firm believer in equal rights for women. And I'm not afraid to say that ever, because I 100% believe it. Equal rights, equal pay. It's going to be equal, but nobody can, I mean, come on, unless you're Rush Limbaugh and you have to talk about your politics as part of your brand, he wants to hear it. Yeah. And even when you were Rush Limbaugh, most people still didn't want to hear it.
Man, like you said, for you with like equality and like women in the workplace, that is your brand. That's what you do. You're a female business owner. Mm-hmm. Most of your employees are females. So it's on brand for you to talk about those things. If you started talking about the primaries, that would be polarizing.
Yeah.
Well, and kind of stay in your lane. Like if you do what you know and what you do, and that has nothing to do with what we do. So why on earth will we go down that with anybody in any industry? Stay in your lane.
Well, and we work with several really amazing nonprofits. And one of my favorites is Momentum Leaders. And they are all about female growth in the workplace, because it is so difficult in several different industries to get promoted. I think it's something like only 3 CEOs are in the top Fortune 500 companies. Crazy. There's only 3 female CEOs out of all those companies, and women still don't make the same amount on the dollar. It's crazy to me. And as long as they're promoting female unity and work-life balance, which is a mess, but supporting women in business and helping other women move forward, I think that's awesome. And we'll continue to support it as long as we can.
Agreed. So on our social media hotline this week, I want y'all to listen, and then I want to hear your thoughts about what happened.
Okay.
Social media hotline. Okay. So you hired a social media company and your reach hasn't grown. Everything looks the same. Oh, well, you're still doing the stuff you did before? Okay, that's the problem. So if you're going to hire a company to do it, you need to let them do it. It's not about what you like. It's about what your customer likes. Okay, you fix that and call me back. Okay, bye-bye.
So that's exactly what we've been talking about.
Exactly. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Politely. If you're going to let us do it.
And I like what you said at the very end. It's not about what you like. It's about what your customer likes. You like mockingbirds and you like all these things that have nothing to do with a car wash that you run. Then you need to think about what your customer is looking for. What are people looking for? Looking for that.
Or you're in a strategic meeting and the CEO is, let's say, a 70-year-old man, and he is selling, let's say, lingerie to 20-year-olds. His perception of what sells is not, I would be willing to guess, the reality of what speaks to his end user. You cannot inflict your own opinion into your messaging, which is very difficult to do. I think it's normal to do it, but especially for pricing, I cannot tell you how many small business owners cringe when they tell you it's $100. Is that okay? It's okay if it's not your budget. It's okay if it's not your perception. It's even okay if it's not your priority, but don't pre-decide for the end user.
Yes.
You tell them what it is and you let them make their own decision and be proud of who you are and what you offer.
Know your worth and add tax.
Yes.
It's that imposter syndrome where people, even though they are completely qualified and they have all the experience, they have this imposter syndrome that says people aren't going to want to pay me for that.
Yeah, that only took me, 15 years to learn, and I still struggle with it. Yeah.
It's one of those things where perceived value goes a long way. If you don't perceive what you do as valuable, why would anybody else?
And at the end of the day, if you have that expertise and nobody, and they don't, they need you and you're worth something.
I'm a firm believer of there's plenty.
Yeah.
There's so many. I mean, we are based out of Birmingham, Alabama, and there's something like 100,000 businesses in Hoover, not even all of Birmingham, like Hoover. So there is more than enough business for every single social media manager who happens to be, alive or in Birmingham. There is so much work for everybody. There's no reason to gatekeep, help out whoever you can. Okay. I was off by a digit. It's 10,000, but It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
There's plenty of business because we have 24 clients and we're busy. There's plenty for everybody.
Right.
And I think you're doing your client a disservice if you let them continue to be your client if they're not a good fit. You don't want to force a square peg in a round hole. If it's not a good fit, let them find somebody who is a good fit for them and move forward.
Better for you and them.
Much better for them, better for you. Agreed.
As we did last week, and we'll do every week, I want us to end with our Sippin' Social Tea post of the week. And again, we will link them in the show notes because if you're not following them and you are in the digital marketing world at all, you need to be. And even if you're not in the digital marketing world, you'll probably find most of this funny. So this week it says, my salesperson, I want a list of people who visit our website every day so I can call them. We're obviously interested in our services if they visit our website. LOL. Yeah. Okay, my dude.
My dude. That's funny.
That is maybe one of the most out of touch things I've ever heard.
Why don't you explain, Karen, why that is so ridiculous for the people that don't understand how this works?
Read it again.
My salesperson says, I want a list of people who visit our website every day so I can call them. They're obviously interested in our services if they visit our website. LOL. Yeah. Okay, my dude.
Okay. That would be like challenging an employee who works for Home Depot to get the contact information of every person who walks through the front door.
That's a great
Or
analogy.
every person who walks through the exit door with no purchase. For one, people aren't going to give you that information. They just met you. They don't know you. They don't trust you. You haven't established any kind of relationship. And that's just not how the internet works at all. Now, retargeting is a real thing. If you install a Facebook pixel on your website, you could retarget those folks who go to your website on Facebook ads. It's super effective. If you have an agency like us who knows what they're doing, super effective. But unless you have value or you are offering something that the person wants, they're not just going to hand over their email.
Okay.
And let's say you do. You get that email. That salesperson gets that lead. What are you going to do with it? If you're not consistently sending them information to educate, inform, or entertain, why do you even have the email?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not using it and so many businesses do this, they'll get the email and they don't know what to do with it. They just have an email.
And plus, how much time would that take to get all of that and put all that together? Meanwhile, they could have used that time so much more wisely.
Ask yourself, and I'll be the first person to admit this. When you click on a link and it's gated, do you keep looking or do you leave?
Nope.
I'm out.
I'm out.
For those of you that don't know, when you go to a website, it doesn't just automatically have access to your email address. That doesn't happen. You can't. If I go visit a website today, they're not going to know my email address just because
Right.
I went to their website. And
Correct.
also, along with that, if you have 100 people visiting your website every day and nobody's clicking, nobody's buying, there's a problem. Like there's either a problem with your website, a problem
Yep.
with what you're offering, your value. Like if people are coming to the website because they're interested and then nobody is buying,
Something's
that's
broken.
not a
Yep.
problem with your social media.
We've had advertisements where we've gotten thousands of views and we had 1,000 people click through to the landing page and 2 people signed up. That's not me, my guy. That's the information on the landing page. I can't make them participate, but I can get them there. But, you have to have something that they want to deal with. And, think about if you had 100 first dates and no second dates, what's the common denominator there? It's you.
Red flag. Red flag.
You're the problem. It's you.
Yeah, if somebody goes to your website and then to sign up for your newsletter, they have to go through 5 steps. Or to
You're
get
like-
your free download, they have to send in a lock of hair and their blood type. Like nobody's doing it.
Well, you have to just think about what you personally would do. I think it's the New York Times that always wants you to send your email. They're like, sign up for the service. I'm not doing that. I will take whatever the topic is and Google it and find a free resource. I am not going to log in to read an article.
100%. Anytime I get one of those articles on my Facebook news feed or anything, and it says I have to log in, not only do I not do it, I click the little 3 dots that says don't show more from this
Yep,
website.
exactly.
Because I don't want to have to go through that again where I think I'm going to get to read an article and I can't. So
Yep.
I just I'm like, don't show me any more from this place.
Yep.
So how many people are doing that? Like, why do they continue to do it? I guess people do it. I don't know, but that's a turnoff to me.
If you're getting 5,000 marketing emails a day, the reason is probably because you're putting your email into all those things.
Gotta be. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Protect peace.
But people who sign up for your email want your email. But you can't just spam people. Again, it would be like just throwing business cards as you run through the store, which is just a bad idea. I do a ton of research. We're going to call it research on TikTok. And this woman was talking about, they went on to an all-exclusive resort. I won't say the name, but they have a pool that's like their common pool. And then they have a do not disturb pool. And she said, I didn't understand why they had a do not disturb pool until I got to the pool. She said, I am not exaggerating when I say at least one staff member approached us every 2 to 4 minutes. How's it going? Can I interest you in a survey? Do you want to sign up for a tour? Can I get you? She said, it was like having those pop-ups on a website in real life. I'm like, that's the perfect description. That's exactly what it is. When you accost people to buy your stuff, they're not going to buy your stuff. They're going to hate you.
When you're walking down the street on the main strip in Gatlinburg and all the timeshare people stop you every 10 feet. Say, hey, do you have time to talk? Do you want free tickets to a show? Do you blah, blah? And you're just like, please leave me alone. And there's one place there that started handing out these buttons that you could put on your shirt that were like not interested. And they got more business than anybody.
Yep.
Well, it's the people at the mall at the kiosks. I'm like, no eye contact, no eye contact, no eye contact.
I'm going to show my age a little. Do you remember the perfume sprayers in the department store?
Yes.
And people would run from them.
Y'all are going to make fun of me, but that's what I'm
Of course it is, because of course you are.
When I was 17, my mom worked in the buying office at Parisian, and she knew all the vendors, and I would get hired seasonally for holidays to spray cologne on people.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, have you guys seen the video where the mom who does waxing as an esthetician let her 5-year-old do it?
No.
Her kids were taken from her child, her female, it was, thank goodness, at least a female child, but she performed the service that you're supposed to be licensed to perform on like something like 20 clients.
Oh my.
I can't imagine. And you guys know what a Brazilian wax is without me explaining the body part that's involved. Would you let your 5-year-old stare at 20 adult women's?
No.
The CPS has stepped in and removed the child, but come on.
What's wrong with people? Come on.
So that's immediately went my mind to when I saw 5-year-old Becky with a perfume sprayer. I know she was 17.
I was 17. The best thing about this job is I was working this job while I had another job that I was making minimum wage at, which was $4.25 an hour.
You remember when minimum wage was $3.35?
Yep.
And to do this seasonal job where I just went around and asked people if they wanted to try this cologne, I made $10 an hour. And
Wow.
I felt like I was loaded.
You were for the time. Goodness.
And the thing is, they can pay you that because you only work for like a weekend at Father's Day or 3 weekends at Christmas. So it's $10 an hour, but it's not a full-time gig.
But their ROI was probably really good because you did spray it. So they were smart. They were smart.
Yeah.
If you were in a Parisian in the early 90s and a little girl sprayed you with cool water, that was me.
Oh, Becky, were you in the Galleria ever?
I was.
Was the Galleria around when you were 15?
I did. I did most of the malls. Any mall that had a Parisian, I would do like a weekend at one and a weekend at the other. And I loved it.
I was trying to explain this morning when we had a meeting, and I was trying to say Jaden, who is one of our team members, is so good at graphics without sounding like but Jaden is so good at graphics. Her stories are amazing. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
good.
What I see is that like you would think, oh, these clients would be better for like a 20-something-year-old and these might be better for a 40-something-year-old. But we have 20-something-year-olds doing these corporate, like conservative, polished graphics. And we have 40-year-olds that are doing like the quirky ice cream place. And it works. So it's like there's no accounting for age. It's all like your style.
And we could mix it up at any given moment and be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but they do it and they do it well.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all can't see me right now, but I have hot pink hair. So I'm not an average year old.
But I can see you right now and it matches your sweater and I really like it.
It matches my
Thank
shoes
you.
as well, but you can't see them.
Anytime you have any kind of video meeting with Becky, you might get pink, you might get silver, you might get purple. She likes to keep it real.
Or not real, as the case may be.
Anytime, it's just a throw of the dice when you get me in a video. Is my hair going to be, brown or brown or brown?
Sometimes it's brown.
Sometimes it's brown.
I think I might come to our next conference with like a totally new color.
That'd be cool.
Might be
You should
fun.
just do like a big purple streak right in the front.
Yeah. Or just go ahead and lean into silver. That'd be so cool.
I don't think I have enough. It would just look like, I don't know, maybe one day.
So next week on the podcast, we're going to be talking about the 5 things we wish we would have known before we got started in social media. So we're each going to have our own list of things that we wish we'd have known. So if you're just now getting started, these may be some things that you want to listen to so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that we did and learn the hard way. If you are already in the social media world, these are things that may also be of interest to you because either you can relate and you'll have somebody that has been in the trenches that you can relate to, or there are things that you haven't had to deal with yet and it'll save you the trouble. So make sure you're here next week for the 5 things we wish we had known before we started.
Thanks for listening to the Social U podcast, sponsored by Social University. We'll see you next week.